Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now, and it's time for our Spend with TMS segment. The last couple of days have really put a question mark on everybody's travel plans. This, of course, because, and more specifically, the state of Maharashtra has become very strict when it comes to travel restrictions. Of course, India has banned, flights between India and the United Kingdom. So that's very clear cut. But then you have states like Maharashtra which say that if you are coming back from certain parts of the world, the most prominent one being Middle East, then you'll have to quarantine for a particular period of days. Now you'll have to perhaps even produce several kinds of tests, so on and so forth. So let's just sort of, cut the confusion out. And understand what should you do if you had a travel plan coming up. I have with me Sankalp Agarwal, co-founder and CEO of TravelTriangle.com. Sankalp, if you could just sort of clarify right now, if I'm a resident of Mumbai and maybe I had a travel plan, let's use one of the most common examples, Dubai, because travel is very much still open to Dubai. It's just that there are these, rules that you'll have to follow. What does it mean for me? What will I have to do once I come back from Dubai? Can I go ahead with my plan?
So I think, Mubina, first of all, thanks for inviting me to the show again. Second, on the specific query from if you have traveled from Mumbai to Dubai and you're coming back from Dubai, I think the best way is that, policy decisions are still in progress and they are changing quite frequently. So I would say that you should first, any person who is out there, you should first look out for what are the possibilities out there if they land up in Bombay and Mumbai and how they are going to navigate through that. There are some alternate solutions which customers are doing is that they are lending to other states and changing up their flights so that restrictions are little on the lower side, and then from those states they are traveling back to Bombay. These are a couple of options which they should look forward to. And of course, in Maharashtra, the restrictions are more stricter. So I would suggest everyone to follow up whatever is being requested as of state policy, because these steps are being taken for welfare of everyone, right, of the larger community. And hence it is extremely important that, every one of us align to the directives out there as much as we can.
So are there any exemptions, conditions, because and I'm actually going to read one of the WhatsApp messages that has been circulated. I can see it has been forwarded many a times as well, so I think it's best we can clarify. They also say that if you fill a particular kind of form, then you may get exemption for quarantine. So I think, Sankalp, it will be best if you sort of either ask us to disregard this WhatsApp, or if you could just clarify on what that point is. Are there any kind of specific passengers that would be exempt? If I produce, let's say, COVID negative test, will they exempt me from quarantine? How will it work?
Yes. So if you're taken a COVID-19 test for last, typically 24 hours to 48 hours, then there's a high chance that, and the result is negative, of course, right? Then there's a high chance that you may be exempted, right? But I will still say that, don't plan out these things. These things can be changed at intermittent levels as well. And I would just say that, you should take a more pragmatic view of the restrictions. That is always my advice to everyone, and plan accordingly. Just don't assume that things will work for you, because nobody knows how the COVID spreads and what measures have to be taken, and they have to be taken suddenly and immediately. So I would suggest that everyone should plan pragmatically, not aggressively. You will be able to bypass this restriction or that. You should plan for quarantine. You should plan for all of these things as they are important for the country.
Well, things are definitely very dynamic, I'll give you that. Just yesterday we had Karnataka saying that, okay, they'll have a night curfew. And right now, just a couple of minutes ago, we have the state saying that, okay, there will be no night curfew. And as we speak, there's one more notification. We've got this from ANI saying that no RT-PCR tests will be conducted for asymptomatic passengers coming via flights from Europe, South Africa and Middle East. But this is, of course, just with respect to conducting a test. No changes on the institutional quarantine facility. All right. So right now, what's your recommendation, especially for those individuals who have already booked their flights and their hotel stays, so on and so forth? Because I'm sure Sankalp, you'll also agree with me that Dubai is an immensely popular destination for New Year's Eve, not just for this year for obvious reasons, but in the past as well. Dubai is a favorite because of the proximity and various other reasons. What do you recommend these individuals do? Do you recommend they go ahead with their plans? Because like you're saying, the situation is so dynamic.
So I think the best answer is, the travel in times of COVID is interesting, as well as, a little bit of costlier from these two perspectives. But the way I would say is that, the people should still travel, because they can look for how do they troubleshoot the new restrictions out there. There are a variety of mechanisms to troubleshoot for each of these items, because the idea is to contain the corona, not to stop the people from traveling, right? If that would be, then there would be a complete shutdown of the flights, right? So there is no policy which is shutting down the travel of the people, but it's more to contain the corona. So for everything, they should check, on a daily basis. So if my travel is in next 3, 4, 5 days, right, I would have to check every day. For example, if I'm traveling through a flight, a common use case which we are seeing these days is the fact that some flights are getting cancelled because other folks have not been able to join the flight, and the occupancy rate has been very low. So the complete international flights get cancelled, and that information is coming very late to the travelers. So I would say that for everything you will have to be on toes. You will have to check every day from the last 5 days on what is the status of each of the items of the leg of your journey, and everything is all right or not. And in case there is a restriction or there is something which is causing a problem, you should navigate by troubleshooting that problem, and there are multiple options to solve it up. And if you feel that the costs are going way too high by troubleshooting those problems, I think you can opt for cancellation at this point of time. I think there are flexi cancellation policies for really large number of customers who have booked early on, and or you can look forward to reschedule the trip by rescheduling your flights, etc., to a more convenient time for yourself. So these are the couple of options which people can exercise. But I think you can still travel. It's a good time to travel. The countries will look beautiful during the new year, and it's just the matter of navigating and troubleshooting some of the legs of the journey due to restrictions that may be imposed.
All right. So Sankalp, what are the other options for individuals in terms of destinations, or do you think that it will be very expensive to book something so last minute? I'm assuming Goa, Maldives are the other very popular destinations, but I'm sure the charges are very exorbitant.
I don't think so that the charges are very exorbitant apart from what the nature of the destinations are, right? So Maldives is obviously a luxury destination, so it's costlier, but I think Goa is still selling at what the normal prices are. Nobody is overcharging at this point of time. So I think that whole of the India is open, but obviously Goa is a central place for New Year. Having said so, I would say that people should go at places where there is less occupancy, not places where there's too much of crowd. Again, to make sure that they don't catch COVID out there, and so the whole of India is open. People can travel to any destination, any weekend getaway, anything which is near to their place or to a different state as well. So that is all open and all very fun at this point of time. Of course, there's some night restrictions, but I think nobody's traveling at that late in the night, from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Nobody's traveling at that point of time. So pretty much whole country is open for traveling. In terms of international, I think Maldives, Dubai, Nepal, etc. are the key destinations. Maldives is pretty much expensive because of the nature. And Dubai, you can still go, but you will have to troubleshoot. And there are 22 other destinations out there, but they are not that famous for travelers. So if people are looking forward to travel to them, the prices will still be cheap.
All right. Well, Sankalp, it was a pleasure having you with us. Thanks so much for joining in on ET Now and just sort of helping our viewers make a decision with respect to their travel plans. I know a lot of them were pretty perplexed on how they should go about, planning things. In fact, just as we wrap up the show as well,